Okay, thank you everyone for coming to the Ordinary Council meeting on the 13th of February 2019. And I declare the meeting open at 5:33 and acknowledge the traditional custodians, the Gariada people, and recognise the contribution of Gariada elders past, present and future in working together for the future of Port Hedland. Thank you. Item 3, recordance of attendance. We have Councillor Julie Arif that we will phone in a short period of time and we'll do a vote. 3.2, attendance by telephone or instantaneous communication. We've had a request from Councillor Arif to join in by telephone. So could I get a mover in that request? Moved Deputy Mayor and seconded Councillor McDonough. Do I have any against? The motion is passed 8-0. CEO, could I get the councillor called up?
Councillor Arif, it's David Pence here. We've got you on the loudspeaker.
Thanks for phoning in, Councillor.
Hello.
How you going?
Oh, well, thank you.
Item 3.3, apologies, there is nil. Item 3.4, approved leave of absence, there is nil. Item 3.5, disclosures of interest. Do I have any disclosures, councillors?
Yes, Mayor, I do. I have a disclosure of interest in item number 11.2.1, proposed closure of William Creek Road as financial, as I have a Port Authority contract. Item number title 11.2.2, proposed dedication of Red Bank Road, financial interest, as I have a Port Authority contract.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Do I have any further?
Yes, Mr Mayor. Item 11.2.4, I declare the financial interest on that because BHP and FMG are mentioned, and I've got shares involved that exceed the price.
Exceed the threshold?
Sorry, I said threshold. Thank you.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I have financial interests as well in items 11.2.1 and 11.2.2, being that I have a financial interest with the Port Authority, and 11.2.4 in that I have my husband works for BHP and have shares over the threshold.
Thank you, Councillor Arif. Do I have any further declarations? Thank you.
Can I just get a point of order? If my partner works for Downer, the contracted through BHP, would I have to declare financial interest in that?
That's something that you would have to consider yourself. We can't give you advice on that.
Okay. Well, no,
Okay.
no.
Thank you. Item 4, applications for leave of absence. Do I have any applications, councillors?
Yes, Mr Mayor. 20th of February 2019 to the 8th of March 2019.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I also have an application for leave of absence from the 2nd of March to the 14th of March.
Thank you, councillors. Any further applications? No, thank you. Item 5, response to... Oh, I do. I need a mover. Moved Deputy Mayor and a seconder. Councillor Carter. Do I have any against on that? No. Motion's passed 9-0. Item 5, response to previous questions. 5.1, response to questions taken on notice from the public at ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday the 28th of November 2018 from Miss Chrissy McDowell, from Miss Laura Shannon, and from Mr. Paul Smeaton. And the answers are provided.
Point of clarification on this item, Mr. Mayor, please.
Yes.
Item on page 10, 5.3.1, we've got Mrs. Lauren Shannon down the bottom. The question she said, on the town budget for 2016-17, there's a listing of $30,000 under retirement village contractors stroke trade. What was the budget for and were any works completed on the village? The manager of financial service advised that works to the value of $31,665.35 were completed, which included the air conditioning servicing for all units. Now, I believe that was paid for by the board through the rents. The other section, cockroach treatment and rodent baiting, again, paid by the
Councillor,
board through the rent.
I'll just get that question answered. CEO, are you aware of that?
I need to take that on notice and check if there's any.
Can we go on, Mr. Mayor? The cockroach treatment and rodent baiting, I believe that was paid by the board through the rents. Do you want me to continue, Mr. Mayor?
If you like.
I thought you were going to. Okay. General maintenance, including lighting, footpath renewal, ablution repairs, etc. Again, I believe that was paid by the board through the rents. Electrical safety audit.
Councillor
Board,
Dikash, so do you want us to check all of this to see who actually paid for it, whether it was the town or the
Yes,
board?
because the question was, I'm pretty sure it was from the board through the rents. So
Okay.
what happened to the $30,000 that was stated?
I can get that clarified. CEO, are we going to take that one on notice and get it clarified?
Yes.
We'll get an answer to you on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can I just ask a quick question about?
Not at this stage.
Well, it says that.
Can you just, public question time's coming up in a second, so you can ask your question at public question time, okay? Yes. Response to questions taken on notice from elected members at special council meeting held on Monday the 10th of December 2018. There is nil. Item 5.5, response to questions taken on notice from the public at ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday the 12th of December 2018. There is nil. Item 5.6, response to questions taken on notice from elected members at the ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday the 12th of December 2018. There is nil. Item 5.7, response to questions taken on notice from the public at special council meeting held on Monday the 17th of December 2018. There is nil. Item 5.8, response to questions taken on notice from elected members at the special council meeting held on Monday the 17th of December 2018. There is nil. Item 6, public time. I have to read out this important note. This meeting has been recorded on audio tape and streamed live online as an additional record of the meeting and to assist with minute-taking purposes, which may be released upon request to third parties. If you do not give your permission for recording your participation, please indicate this at the meeting. The public is reminded that in accordance with Section 616 of the Town of Port Hedland Local Law and Standing Orders, nobody shall use any visual, vocal or electronic device or instrument to record the proceedings of any meeting unless that person has been given permission by the presiding member to do so. Members of the public also reminded that in accordance with Section 6174 of the Town of Port Hedland Local Law and Standing Orders, mobile telephones must be switched off and not used during the meeting. In accordance with Section 673 of the Town of Port Hedland Local Law and Standing Orders, members of the public are required to complete a question form and place the completed form in the tray provided. So 6.1, public question time. I'll open public question time at 5:43 and call for public questions. Do I have any public questions in the gallery? Thank you. Could I get members of the public to just say their name and address for the record? Thanks.
Yep, name is Lauren Shannon, 49 Moore Street, Port Hedland. First question, which is about the answers that were on the agenda. The answer to one of my questions when I queried about the depreciation process of the retirement village, it states, to allow for a comprehensive response to be prepared, this answer will be provided in the minutes of the meeting. Which meeting minutes will this answer be found, as it did not specify?
Yes, we have got a draft response to that question, and it will go into the minutes of this meeting.
Okay, no worries. Second one, in regards to the more recent building and structural inspection that was completed at the Port Hedland Retirement Village in December, I just wanted to see, when will that report be finalised and will it be made available to the public to view?
The report will be presented to council sometime this month.
Okay.
So once it's presented to council and council has a look at it, they'll decide what happens from there.
Okay, cool. So, third question's along the lines of that. So are you waiting on that report to come through before you start calling for tenders to complete any works to the retirement village?
We'll have to have a look at the report, see what the costs associated with the repairs are, and then the process starts to apply funds if council decides to apply funds to that process.
No worries. All right, thank you.
Thanks. Do I have any further questions from the public?
Kayla Marshall, 131 Anna Street, Port Hedland. Mayor Kimina Blanco, members of the council and CEO. On the 15th of December, Mayor Kimina Blanco, you had posted a comment via Facebook stating that the Port Hedland Retirement Village had $170,000 in 3 different accounts. You had made mention that the town are not legally allowed to touch these funds. What actions, if any, have been made in the attempt to gain access to these funds and use for what's intended for them, i.e. maintenance and fixtures of the retirement village? So
the town of Port Hedland doesn't have any jurisdiction to spend that money.
Yeah.
The town has asked the committee to
what committee was that? One that's dissolved, or
the committee, the retirement village committee.
That no longer exists anymore.
They would you like to explain that?
So the corporation has not disbanded,
Okay.
so it will require the committee to come together and go through the formal process if they so choose. Whatever funds and assets the corporation hold has to go to a similar or like. Sorry?
A deputy.
Who's it?
Get the CEO to answer.
So they would have to go to a similar or like.
Okay, no worries, thank you.
Deputy, I was unaware of that. Can you just state that?
The Incorporated decided that it would go to the Royal Flying Doctor and St John Ambulance, which are like-minded organisations.
So the 170.
I can fill you in on that if you wish.
Could I just get you to wait one sec, Councillor? So the Retirement Village Committee has decided to forward the 170,000 to other organisations.
Well, as the CEO explained, it can't come to the town, it has to go to like-minded organisations. We're not a non-for-profit organisation, so therefore it can't come to us.
Can I explain a
Yes,
little further?
Councillor Arif, yes.
As per the constitution of the retirement village, it has to be, as Deputy Mayor said, dispersed into like-minded organisations. When I checked with the Department of Commerce as to the disbanding process, they told me that the only way that a organisation with financial assets can disperse the assets, it has to go to a registered charitable organisation, and gave me the organisation details as to how to go about finding which charities are registered. There were only 2 in Port Hedland that the money could stay in the town, or with organisations that have a presence in town, and that was the St John's Ambulance and the Royal Flying Doctor Service, both of whom have serviced the Port Hedland Retirement Village residents over a period of time. And so that is how we came upon that. We have not acted upon that yet, as we are still going through the process with everything. So at this stage, that was the decision, but we have not acted upon it yet.
So can I just clarify whether the committee has actually disbanded yet?
No.
So is the committee...
Because we still had outstanding accounts, and we could not disband until all our bills and everything were paid. So I believe we have now finally paid our last one, and once we are absolutely sure that everything is totally clear, then we can formally start to disband.
So I suppose a question that many people might like to ask is, considering the committee is not disbanded, why wouldn't the committee then just spend the funds that are left on works that need to be done? Why, in the interim?
Because we no longer have any operational management of the village.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. Okay, do I have any further public questions?
My first question to the council is, are they aware that the lease in question at the moment for this dog farm is being used as a goat farm with the neighbouring leases 5224, 5225 as well, with a herd of 40 odd goats on it? And are there any applications that they're supposed to have to do this before they can do it? Because it's been going on for nearly 12 months. And I've got goats getting out eating my horse feed. I've got permission from the rangers to shoot the goats. Now, is there anything on record that they need permission to have these goats on these properties?
I'm unaware if they're required to have any permission. It is a rural residential area, so animals are allowed to be on that land. But CEO, did you have anything further on that? No.
Now, I've also been made aware that there is an application for this by George and Agnopoulos, and I'm wondering if I'm able to cite this document.
That's a question that you'd have to ask the planning department or the CEO or the owner of the lease.
Well, the application's in with you, so I've already talked to planning, and I've come here to ask you to cite the application from the lessee. I thought all applications were transparent, for the public to see.
Can you just clarify which application? We have a development application here in front of us. So it's a public document.
But the application isn't.
CEO, do you?
It's all a public document. You can
Well, I
request
asked
to view that.
I talked to Chaz in planning yesterday. He said I'm not allowed to view it.
All right, I would need to check then because it's all public information.
No, he said it's on the computer and I'm not allowed to see it. So I'd like to see the document.
The original
Application, yes.
Okay, I see. So the development application is in the agenda tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But not the application. It's not in this document that has been tabled that you have.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and if the manager of planning has said you can't see the original document, then more than likely you won't be able to see the original document, because we do have a planning application in a public document in the agenda tonight. There's always the option of any member of the public to put in a Freedom of Information request. If that document, you want to see the original document, then the process is an FOI application.
Right. Next question is, I've passed you all the document. In this document it states that the lessee, right, of the lease, which is George, needs written permission from the minister prior to applying for any applications of any type. Now, nowhere in this document is George's name except on the lease, which we know is the leaseholder, but the development application is not in his name. So this, as far as I'm concerned, this is an invalid document, right? I've been to the minister, right? I'm talking with them now. I'm waiting for my response from them. You have the document in front of you in black and white. It states, lessee shall get written consent by the minister before he can apply for anything. It's not in this document.
Okay, so what is your question?
Have you got that document?
What we've got in front of us is...
No, with the application.
What we've got in front of us is a development application that's been presented by our administration, and obviously appropriately qualified people have put it together. So if there is any issues with the document, I'm sure that they would have picked it up. And if you have an issue with the way the document has been presented, there is appropriate methods, I suppose, of you to object to it.
I am doing that.
Thank you. All right. Oh, do I have any further public questions? Thank you.
My name is Nina Panghans from number 6 Rodoreda Street, Port Hedland, WA 6721. This question is on behalf of Mr. Arnold Carter of 47 Moore Street, Port Hedland, WA 6721. Mr. Carter is unwell. And the question is, I refer to the $8 million in the reserve account for financial insurance as presented in yesterday's ARG meeting. What was the purpose for the allocation of large amount of money, and do you anticipate litigation?
No, we don't, and the number that's been quoted is incorrect. Mr. Carter that was explained to Mr. Carter last night. It was also explained to Mr. Carter, on multiple occasions when he's engaged with the finance team. And I can get that explained again now, if you like. Can we break down the interest?
I think for the interest of the public, could you explain it?
Where's that, finance? Yep. Okay. Can I just get you up on the mic? Thanks.
On the microphone?
Yep. Oh, here. Yeah. Right here. Yeah.
Can I just clarify the question? Was that in relation to the interest on the $8 million or the $8 million that is referred to being transferred to reserve?
It's the $8 million in the reserved account.
So through the original budget adoption, there was $3 million identified by the council to be placed into that reserve. If you read the purpose of the reserve, I apologise, I have it in front of me. Which is for the purpose of mitigating financial risk in the event that there is a valuation objection with Landgate. So we don't anticipate that there will be drastic valuation changes, but given that there has been some new rates identified through the 18-19 financial year, in order to ensure that the town remains in a sustainable financial position and doesn't end up in a position where we have to pay back large amounts of money, which then reduces the service that is deliverable to the town, the funds have been restricted in reserve for that purpose.
Is that 3 million within the norm?
Is that what part?
Is that within the norm? Is that 3 million kind of a regular?
So
We 3 million. We're talking about a 8 million restriction on a certain amount of our income that the council has agreed to. I don't understand where your 3 million. What?
The 3 million that she said.
yeah, so it was $3 million at the original budget adoption, and then an additional $5.4 million through the budget review process, totaling just over $8 million being placed into that reserve for a period of time until the council decides that the risk is lower, and then we can use those funds as the council decides.
Just going back to the second question, the $3 million, is that the norm in mitigating risk?
It was. Let's see. Can you answer that?
There is no norm. It was a decision by council to take a portion of that money and set it aside. It's very difficult to determine what the level of risk is, and it was if you want to call it a best assessment to take a portion of that money.
And then my third question in relation to that, have you done something similar in the past, and how much?
Not
No.
that I'm aware of.
No, the town hasn't done anything similar. Neither has any local government across WA. The town of Port Hedland is leading the way in this area. When we're talking about this specific income,
So this is the first time.
the first time for any local government across WA.
Is that best practice or?
So the first time for the town of Port Hedland, Ashburton, the Shrine of Ashburton, were involved in a similar situation where it was disputed, and hence we have taken this precautionary approach in dealing with the funds.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Just find my spot. Okay, do I have any further public questions? Okay, I'll close public question time at 6:02 and open public statement time at 6:02. Do I have any public statements from the public? Thank you. Can I have the first one?
Claire Bennett, 5 Robinson Street, Port Hedland. Following on from the meeting in November with regards to the current lack of childcare facilities, I'd just like to say that I sincerely hope that after reading the in-depth reports on the current situation and the proposed resolutions that can be made to help ease some of the waiting lists, that Council are going to take immediate action to help support families in town who are in desperate need for childcare solutions. There are 377 families currently waiting and more added each and every week due to Port Hedland becoming a popular destination for families to live. Let's encourage this by catering for the growing needs of the community. We now also have the support of the Hedland Collective, who are very keen to support Port Hedland Council with what needs to be done to help the situation. I urge council members to acknowledge the needs of the town and support the decisions that have been proposed in the reports and the business plans that you have been provided with. This is a step in the right direction. It's not going to eliminate the waiting list, but it will certainly relieve some of the pressure. Please make your votes wisely and show your support to the members of the community.
Thank you. Do I have any other public statements? Thank you.
Karen Munro, 4 Rutherford Road, South Hedland. I'm here to make a public statement in support of the Canine Enrichment Centre. I've lived and worked in Hedland for over 4 years now. I'm a dog lover. My 2 miniature fox terriers are my babies. I'm not sure how many of you have dogs, and if you don't, you may have no idea how important dogs can be. We see them as family. For those of you who say, but it's just a dog, I have no doubt that you will not see how important dog socialising and activities are. For those of you who do have dogs, do you think your fur babies would love to have a canine enrichment centre in a purpose-built safe facility? I know my dogs would, as they love their daily outings. They wait patiently for Kaz each day. They know the sound of her car arriving and they know her voice. Their excitement grows when her car pulls up each day. In case you're wondering how I know this while I'm at work, I can see everything via cameras, so I know exactly how excited they are to go out with Kaz and their doggy friends. Hedland has many residents like me, those who love their dogs and want to see them socialised and entertained while they are spending many hours at work. Like many people in this town, my husband and I work long hours. To enhance the current service in a purpose-built facility would be amazing. The thought that the dogs are safely fenced in with play activities would be very reassuring. My 2 dogs are very tiny, so every dog is huge to them. The confidence they have gained since joining the dog group last year has been amazing. Instead of hiding in every possible place, they are now happy to strut their stuff with the other dogs. Unfortunately, I have had one traumatic experience in Hedland where one of my little dogs was killed by a neighbour's dog. This dog was aggressive and possessed no social skills, as it never got out of its very small yard. Perhaps if these owners had cared about their dog instead of using it to make money by breeding from it, maybe we still would have had our little 4-legged companion. Kaz's vision to build a canine enrichment centre here in Hedland is one that is obviously required and supported, not only for exercise and socialising in a safe environment for our own Hedland canine population, but consider the amount of travellers who visit our town during the tourist season. My husband and I love to travel in our caravan, but we'll only go where we can take our dogs. We research what options are available for pet sitting if we want to visit a national park or tourist site where we cannot take our dogs. Hedland desperately needs this service so that dogs are not left inside caravans or tied up for long hours whilst their owners shop or visit tourist spots. So many travellers take their dogs with them these days. Don't you think this facility would be welcomed by travelling pet owners and make our town more appealing to tourists? Kaz's plan of a canine enrichment centre would be an extension of the amazing service she is currently able to offer. Wouldn't it also be great to give a long-time Hedland resident the opportunity to establish a new business in town? Isn't that one of the things the council should be promoting and supporting? It's been very well planned out, with safety being paramount for all. Dogs can't speak in our language, but they can certainly let you know what they like to do. I believe they are also the best judge of character. If only they could be here and be able to show their support for this wonderful opportunity for Hedland. Thank you for your time to present.
Thank you. Good. Do I have any further public statements?
Good evening, Michelle Selwood, 22 Threadfin Loop, South Hedlands. This is about the Canine Enrichment Centre. Follows on from Karen. Safe Hedlands strongly support the proposed out-of-town centre. Miss Parker, Kaz, has kindly offered temporary respite and recovery suites for canines in need that come to safe through the Shire ranges. A secure place for safe dogs to stay, where carers are in short supply, a respite option for dogs and carers who are in need to take leave at short notice or over holiday periods is welcomed. A recovery space for dogs who've had surgeries or recovering from trauma. SAFE has had multiple cases which would have benefited from this in the recent months. At the moment, SAFE relies entirely on our wonderful foster carers. However, some dogs who come to SAFE have experienced this upset and need a quiet space and one-on-one attention away from the hustle and bustle of a busy household. And many of our animal-loving carers have had their own pets, which is not always beneficial to anxious, reactive or recovering dogs. This centre would offer an alternative space for dogs and puppies SAFE encounter and save on a daily basis. SAFE currently use vets for temporary and overnight boarding, but time and resources are very limited and the SAFE dogs can draw attention away from their other commitments. The proposed advantage of having this centre in Port Hedland cannot be overstated. SAFE has had quite an influx of dogs and litters of puppies, which the Shire Rangers are aware of, which is stretching our resources, especially for dogs who need that no pet space temporarily to determine their true character after a stressful start. Ms Parker is particularly skilled in her ability to assist SAFE in directing on the best path for a dog in the community of Hedland. Also, Ms Parker will be offering a socialisation opportunity for dogs who may not have had the positive experience of appropriate dog-to-dog, dog-to-human interaction. Ms Parker has already been a massive asset to SAFE on this account, having dog coordinated for SAFE in the past and continuing to offer support for anxious, nervous or just confused dogs to regain their confidence. Taking dogs in foster care out for enriching group walks and rehabilitating dogs. This centre would cater to this even more so by allowing dogs and puppies the opportunity to develop life skills in a safe and monitored environment to improve their prospects in life after SAFE. All of these aspects are greatly sought after in Hedland would bring such an amazing opportunity to the town. It would provide the community facilities that families would welcome and expect in a family-friendly forward community. Speaking from the experience of a long-term resident, I see great need for the centre as well. The Pilbara is growing and changing, and community spirit and pride Headlanders have in town is unique given where Headland sits geographically in terms of nearest services. I've always had dogs in my family and share the frustrations of other families when they need to leave town for either a planned holiday, work commitments or an unexpected medical issue. Currently, there is nowhere to leave pets in a secure environment if you need to leave, and the alternatives aren't always possible. As Hedland house sitters are booked months in advance, and this doesn't allow for spontaneous trips or emergency medical situations. Having a daycare for dogs would also alleviate a lot of the surrendered dogs and the strays that go to rangers because they're simply bored, get out of the yards, and the owners are aware of this, unaware that they're out because they work long hours. Residents and pets should not be penalised for the necessity of having to work or take well-earned breaks. What Ms Parker is offering is a safe and secure centre for the vacation care of dogs, rehabilitation and care of traumatised animals, socialisation of the community's dogs, respite for our stretched foster carers, relief for the town vets, and a reduction of the strain on the Hedland Rangers who may spend their valuable time chasing dogs who are otherwise left at home during the day while the owners are at work. Ms Parker also will provide transport to and from the centre and a day of entertainment and care, returning happy dogs to their Hedland owners. Pets are important to the people of Hedland. They become members of the family, and happy families who are catered for by town state to contribute to the town's future. SAFE works tirelessly to keep animals off the streets of Hedland and into safe and loving placement. It's because of this that we urge you to have, the councillors to really have a think about allowing a haven for dogs in Hedland and the Canine Enrichment Centre. Thanks.
Thank you. You're right on your 5 minutes too. Do I have any further public statements?
There seems to be some conjecture about me and dogs. I've been a dog owner all my life. I've had working cattle dogs, I've had sheep dogs. I have got nothing against dogs whatsoever. I like dogs, but I like horses as well. Dogs and horses do not mix. I have spent the best part of 26 years building the horse industry out of that precinct that the state government released, which you have a document in front of you, for the sole purpose, the stabling and paddocking of horses, not dogs, not people. I've been trying for 13 years to get a rural residential building. He's got one in 2. I have nothing against dogs, but I have spent, you want businesses to grow? I've spent $2 million, $800,000 in cash, which I can prove in receipts. $1.2 million in labour for the horse industry for Port Hedland. You want to put a dog kennel next to my rodeo? That's not going to go down very well either. The rodeo is right next door to this dog kennel. I've got nothing against dogs, just go and find somewhere else to put it. Why should I invest 26 years of my life in this community and then all of a sudden someone come along that really this application I have told you is invalid. The only people that are allowed to apply for anything on that lease is the leaseholder. Now you've got a document here and it states the only people on the lease is George and Lily Anagostopoulos, however you say it. Right? These people don't have a right to apply for anything until the lease is in their name. And you have that document in front of you. I'm not playing by fair anymore. Let's play by the law. It states there, compliance by law. I've been in here several times asking you to give me a fair go. Right? I've been doing pony rides for the kids of Port Hedland 25 years. I lead the Anzac Day Parade on my stallion 15 years. I have contributed that much I can't remember, right? You're talking about businesses? Well, I've done it. And I am still doing it. People have acquired these leases fraudulently. They signed the lease as a stabling and paddocking of horse. Now they've gone around and changed it. George has never had horses there. I sold him a 10-year lease in 2012. That lease ran to 2022. Not once in those years that he's had it has he had horses there. Not once has he put water there for the horse. Nothing. Nothing to do with horses. He hasn't used it at all. So as far as I'm concerned, he's breached his lease. And that's what I'm going through the minister now. But he's not the only one. There's about 7 of them. There's leases out there that haven't even been fenced. So don't get me wrong. I've got nothing against these dog people. You just find them somewhere else where I haven't spent half my life building an industry for Port Hedland. And surely there's millions of acres out there. You know, don't need to come encroach on what I've done. That paddock is one of the best paddocks, horse paddocks, in the Pilbara. And I've made it that way. Now this man comes along, gets it out of me, in goodwill, states to me that he's going to run horses for his kids. Sits on it for 6 years, does nothing with it. Now he's running a goat farm on it. What's next? You know, what have I got to do to get a fair go? I'm not looking for accolades, just a fair go. Hey, I like dogs, not a problem. That's not the issue I've got. The issue has got the use. This document is invalid because their name is not on the lease. And it states in those documents, any dealings must be in written consent by the minister. You have it in front of you. So, go by the law, you've got it, right? I can't sit here all night because I've got to go to work. I hope you make the right decision. Find the people somewhere to put their dogs, but not on the horse paddocks that I've just spent half my life building. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, do I have any further public statements? Okay, I'll close public statement time at 6:17. Item 6.3, petitions, deputations, presentations and submissions. We did have one presented at the 28th of November Ordinary Council meeting. And we have stated that as the position was not addressed directly to council, the town's administration has forwarded it to the member of Legislative Council of the Parliament of WA on the 17th of December, and Miss Marshall received a copy of the same date. Item 7, questions from members without notice. Deputy? Councillor Whitwell? Councillor Carter? Councillor Takash?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I've got a few. Just start off with this idea by the director of Vice Liquor and Licensing about his restrictions, further restrictions for the town of Port Hedland and the Pilbara itself. I would like to that a letter be sent to him on behalf of council, and I'll just read what I wrote, Mr. Mayor. And seeing that the majority of councillors not agree with the Director of Liquor and Licensing over added liquor and outlet restrictions in town of Port Hedland, and indeed the Pilbara, that he withdraw all his restrictions proposals that would come into effect by, I believe, the 31st of March, 2019. The letter also to note the Premier, the Honourable Mark McGowan, local MLA Kevin Michelle, and many other ministers of all sides of politics do not agree with his draconian proposal for our region. Through you, Mr. Mayor, can the CEO or governance ensure the letter sent ASAP rejecting his proposals?
I think I know that the council has already sent a letter to the Director of Liquor Licensing stating that the council didn't agree with that proposal. So it was already presented to the Director of Liquor Licensing quite some time ago.
Well, if that's the case, I do not know if I received a copy or any other
Maybe you didn't read the item when it came up.
Maybe I wasn't here or something, but I request a copy, and I think you're wrong that it might not be here. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Give me a copy so I can show other people that we do care.
Could I get Councillor to get a copy of that?
Thank you. The other question is, can I have a report on the status of the marina development? Is anything happening at all?
As soon as the Minister for Regional Development or the committee that is dealing with it gives us some information, it'll be presented to council. Currently, we don't have much information on that at all.
So, has any plans been drawn up for the landside development of the marina? If not, when will they start?
Council's already been, briefed briefly on this, where our director, Mr. Leeds, is engaging with with that committee on trying to get a landside and waterside development happening at the same time. So as soon as we know more in relation to that, the council will be briefed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. But even though there's less, can we get a copy of what's been said? We are the councillors. We need to know what's happening with this proposal.
The council knows as much as what we know, as in the directors currently.
I just want in writing, that's all, Mr. Mayor.
CEO, could I get something drawn up on that? Thanks.
Thank you. Next question is, what is the situation on the Bradwick pool? Is the maintenance on time for reopening for the next swim season? And can we have a monthly report on the progress of the maintenance of the pool?
The council's already been briefed on the pool. We are waiting for the filters to be made, and that's been, the council's been briefed on that quite a few times. So it's out of our hands. It's a one-off filtration system that has to be designed and built. And like I said, council's been briefed on that a few times.
And I was there once, but I just want something black and white to say this is way these things are going, and
I
keep
can
the progress.
get the briefing notes resent to you if you like.
Yes, please, and
okay.
And a
so
monthly
can we get
report.
that resent to Councillor Takash?
Next one is, will all councillors receive a formal written statement from mentor Mr. Ron Urovich as to why he made his decision to the ministerial department concerning council, and can we have a breakdown of where the $50,000 of ratepayers' monies was spent on his mentoring?
So the costs associated with the engagement of Mr. Jurovic are in the financials, and that's been presented to council.
Yep.
The report that Mr. Jurovic gave to the department, council is well aware of what was going on with the report because that email trail is quite long. Like I've stated to council, we have not, I've requested the report, and I've been told that it's not a report for council's eyes, it's for the Minister of Local Government. So I don't know how much clearer I can get with that. And, clearly other councillors have requested as well the report, and obviously they haven't received it, otherwise I'm sure they would have passed it on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's just that I'm concerned of spending $50,000, and I'm sure you are, of ratepayers' money.
I don't think it was 50,000. I think it was more along the line. Yeah, we can provide a breakdown, but I think it was around 25 or 30.
I know, but just one page of just that thing, if I can get, please. Just lastly, Mr. Mayor, I believe the CEO met with BHP in January 2019. Will council get a report of what was discussed, and when can we get that report? There was a date, through you, Mr. Mayor, that you were going to meet with BHP. Did that happen?
We have meetings with industry groups all of the time, just to find out what they're doing, find out what we're doing, and just liaising and creating that that relationship. It would have just been a monthly. CEO, could you just clarify that?
So the town has a monthly technical meeting with BHP, and there's representatives from across the organisation, both organisations, and we deal with a range of technical matters, as opposed to strategic.
Okay, but through you, Mr. Mayor, I read that quite many months ago that any meetings with BHP or FMG or whatever, we as councillors, the leaders of the town, should be invited to. There's no secret. There should be no secrets or anything. I mean, there's an underlying factor, as you know, in town, that there's deals and wheeling and dealing. So if we're invited, we're going to say to the people, look, it's in confidence. We were there. We know what's happening. But in the meantime, there's only a couple of people involved. That's my issue, Mr. Mayor.
If you're invited, I don't understand. If you're invited, obviously you can turn up. But if it's an operational matter, then the CEO will deal with that. If it's a strategic matter, which is what the council deals with, then the position of council has already been adopted through our strategic community plan and our Port City growth plan. So there's nothing secret about that. They would be the conversations that we are having with industry groups.
Yeah, I'm just asking that council be invited with strategic, whatever fancy words that are used, that we as council, the elected people of this town, are invited to those meetings with those people if they want to. So it can't be too hard. That's all I'm asking.
If the meetings are requested from industry groups and they request the council to be present, the council will get a invitation. If the industry groups request that the CEO or the mayor or director present to the meeting, that's what will happen.
So I'd really like to see those invitations that those companies ask whether they ask for us or not.
You can request any of that information through the CEO at any time.
Okay, I will. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I've got.
Thanks. Councillor Heber. Councillor McDonough.
Mayor, just in relation to 11.2.4, I was just wondering if we could get that moved up the order tonight.
We will, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Councillor Pitt.
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Arif.
No questions.
Thank you. Okay, move on to item 8, announcements by presiding member without discussion. I did have a long-winded speech for you, but I think we might just cut it out because we've got some babies in here that are waiting for the next item. Item 9, declarations of all members to have given due consideration to all matters contained in the meeting tonight. Could I have a show of hands, please? Thank you.
Yes.
Councillor Arif, yes?
Yes.
Thank you. 9-0. Item 10, confirmation of minutes of previous meetings. 10.1, confirmation of minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday, the 28th of November 2018, with the officer's recommendation on page 15. Moved Councillor McDonough. Seconded Councillor Carter. Do I have any against? Councillor Arif? Motion's passed 9-0. 10.2, confirmation of minutes of special council meeting held on Wednesday, the 10th of December 2018, with the officer's recommendation on page 15 as well. Do I have moved Councillor McDonough? Do I have a seconder? Councillor Heber? Do I have any against? Thank you. Motion's passed 9-0. 10.3, confirmation of minutes of ordinary council meeting held on Monday the 12th of December 2018 with the officer's recommendation on page 16. Do I have a mover in the officer's recommendation? Thank you. Councillor Pitt. Seconder, Councillor Carter. Do I have any against? Thank you, Councillor Arif. Motion's passed 9-0. 10.4, confirmation of minutes of the special council meeting held on Wednesday the 17th of December 2018 with the officer's recommendation again on page 16. Do I have a mover in the officer's recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Carter. Seconder, please. Councillor McDonough. Do I have any against? Thank you, Councillor Arif. The motion is passed 9-0. I read out this disclaimer. Members of the public are cautioned against taking any action on council decisions on items on this evening's agenda in which they may have an interest until formal notification in writing by the town has been received. Decisions made at this meeting can be revoked pursuant to the Local Government Act 1995. Councillors, as we have quite a few people in the gallery that are here for, I think, 2 items, we might request that we move the childcare item 11.2.4 and also 11.2.3 forward, so we can do both of those first. Do I have a mover in that? Thank you, Councillor Pitt. Do I have a seconder, Councillor Carter? Do I have any against? Thank you. Motion's passed 9-0. So we'll move on to 11.2.4.
Mr Mayor, I have to declare a financial interest in this one.
Oh, thank you. Can I have your declaration? Thank you.
Yeah, Mr Mayor, I'd like to declare an interest that I have a financial in 11.2.4 in that BHP owns one of the bigger childcares there, and my husband works for BHP and I have BHP shares over the threshold.
Thank you, Councillor Arif.
Do I need to hang up?
Yes, I think you will, and we'll put you on mute. Just hang around. Mute.
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
I'd like to declare an interest on financial interest on that item as well. 11.2.4, provision of, childcare. That's right. Provision of childcare centre, file number 15-05-0014. I have shares in both BHP and FMG that are above the threshold.
Thank you, Councillor. Okay, 11.2.4, provision of childcare.
I'd like to make an amendment to the officer's recommendation, please.
Yes, Deputy Mayor?
Just at the end of
Can I get you speaking to the mic?
Just at the end of it, point 4, could we include investigate library options as part of the McGregor Street multi-purpose building?
Point 4?
Yeah. It's got 3 and then we're adding 4.
Oh, point 4, okay, right.
Yep. Investigate library options as part of the McGregor Street multi-purpose building in the future.
Sorry, point of clarification. Could we not just update point 3 there and change the wording there because it already says McGregor Park and J.D. Hardy, so.
But that's got J.D. Hardy. We're not investigating J.D. Hardy in the future.
That's okay. We've got this one here. Obviously you're moving it.
Yes.
Do I have a seconder on that option?
Second.
Yeah, okay. Do I have any against? No. The motion's passed. That's right. 7-0. Okay, could I get Councillor Councillor De Cash back in? People that were waiting for the decision on the provision of childcare, it's just gone through, so there was no debate, there was nothing. The officer's recommendation has gone through as written. Thanks. I think. Okay, 11.2.3, proposed use not listed, rural home business and single house lot 5223 Great Northern Highway, Pippingara. With the officer's recommendation on page 82. Oh, have I got a different one?
80.
On page 80, okay.
So I would like to make an officer's recommendation to that as well. Thank you, Mayor.
You would like to make an amendment, would you? Can I get you speaking to the mic? Thank you.
Yeah. Just including, after the public briefing last week, I would just like to add a couple of extras on the purposes here that they need to provide. One was B, if I could add on, I don't know which one I'm adding on to, 1 or 2, a full fence on the west side of the property to totally block out the view from the horse yard to the dog yard. And also for the starting, a full fence on the west side of the building. We spoke about it at the briefing. Yeah, full screening to reduce litigation.
Do you know the extent of the fence? How long is it?
Whatever's stated in our plans. Yeah.
So that you could be talking 300 metres, or you could.
No, we're not talking 300 metres.
Or are you talking the parcel of land that the item is on, or are you talking the
just her segregated area that she's got fenced off for her dog area.
Okay, so what you've just shown me there and what you've outlined is the
The
whole
west side.
block.
No, it's not.
Page?
Just the one side. The side facing the horses.
Page number?
90. Yeah, if we could.
E. Is there anything else?
Yes, there was just one more. I did want to put a limit on the dogs for the business startup, and that there is 9 rooms, so there can be 9 dogs overnight. I'm making up another one.
Under what point?
I'm adding a point. So I'm putting a limit on the dogs on the property.
Okay, so under point 1. So yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And then a total of 25 on site at all times. In saying that too, I'd just like to explain that when the client...
Yeah, can we just get your
Yep, all right.
recommendation and
Yep.
we can go to debate if council disagrees? A total of
25.
So,
What?
no, it's all right. It's all right. We'll go to. Would you like to, council? Would you like to come out of standing orders so we can discuss it?
Yes.
Okay. Could I have a mover to come out of standing orders? Thank you, Councillor McDonough. Second, Councillor Pitt. Thank you. Any against? Councillor Arif.
Yes, John.
Coming out of standing orders, motion's passed 9-0. CEO, yes. Could I get a explanation on that? Thank you.
Through the chair, limiting the number of dogs doesn't go to the land use, so it's not enforceable as a planning condition. But this business will be required to apply for a kennel establishment licence. So the rangers are the ones who can put enforceable conditions around the number of dogs that are able to be in the kennel. So we will have the chance to regulate that, but the planning decision is not the appropriate place for that.
Beautiful. I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Is there any other questions surrounding that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Just in regards to the information that's presented to us tonight, how up to date is the agenda item according to the information? Because I really want this passed. Like last time I disapproved it. I voted against it in regards to the process. So, yeah.
We have, we've had a signed statement from the planning or the Minister's office today, the Department of Lands, at 4:30, I think. So we are up to date.
Okay, all right, yeah. Oh, good, thanks.
Mr. Mayor, where is it, that 4:30 report? Because
It's an administrative procedure where a signature needs to be on a document to allow it to go forward. The item was going to be pulled tonight, and I was told at about 20 to 5 that, or 4:30, that it will proceed because we have all of the appropriate documentation for it to move forward. So there is no requirement for you to have that. You can request it if you like. But
thank you, Mr. Mayor, but I would never realise that it could have been pulled tonight. That's what I'm saying. When no one was told that it might be.
You would have been told if we didn't get the signed document. We've been waiting for it for quite some time, and we were told that it was going to be presented to us a long time ago. But government agencies sometimes are a little bit slow. But we have got it, so everything's okay.
I would like a copy of it, please.
Okay, well, I'm sure the CEO can issue you a copy of that in the following days. Do I have any further questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to have a bit more of an understanding of the fence that the Deputy Mayor has requested. Around of standing orders, so we can talk about this. It's absolutely
well, my understanding of putting extra regulation on a planning proposal, is probably inappropriate considering any fences are governed by our town planning scheme. There'll be other rules and regulations surrounding anything that's built on a property. The Dog Act covers it. Kennel, there'll be rules surrounding kennels.
Mayor, if I may, I'll just finish what I was going to say. I'd like to have a bit more of an understanding as to the length of that fence. So if someone could just tell me what that is before I even consider it in debate. But I mean, I think the other thing is that this is the third time this has come to council now, and every time it comes, we find some more hoops for this business to jump through. The amount of times I've heard of businesses going broke in this town trying to just get developed, I really think that before we even go into debate and before we consider anything, that it's up to our officers are the ones that can make that are educated in making sure that we adhere to the Act with these planning applications and that sort of things, and the council introducing another new hoop for a business to jump through every time an application comes to it is absolutely.
Can I, CEO, do we have an idea of the length of that according to the plan? 60 metres?
Thank you.
Okay, so fair distance. Yes. Yes. Did you have any further clarification? Okay. Okay, so could I get a mover to come back into standing orders? Thank you, Councillor Pitt. Seconded Deputy Mayor. Do I have any against? Councillor Arif? No? Thank you. Okay, we have a officer's recommendation with an alternate from the deputy, and I assume the deputy is moving that, yes? Do I have a seconder to her alternate? So we have a mover and a seconder with the alternate. Do I have any against?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor DeCash. Speakers for Deputy Mayor. Speakers for Councillor Pitt. Speakers against Councillor DeCash.
Right, Speaker for. I thoroughly looked at this. Last week's briefing was a great time to express a few things and to reduce mitigation towards a wonderful business that this town duly deserves. I don't know how many times you hear people, can you look after my dog? Well, this service is going to give something to the town which is needed for about the last 20 or 30 years. The reason why I asked to add the fencing was to reduce the mitigation, which we did ask the planning department last week, and they said that we could put it in there, as I do know that the horse land is going to be in great demand by the Turf Club very shortly. So if horses and dogs don't see each other, it's a great thing. It's one less avenue to go through from a dog attack. But all I can say is that I hope the business flourishes, and thank you.
Speakers for Councillor Pitt.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, listening to, I think it's Frank who came tonight, he also came before and had those concerns of horses and dogs not getting onto, and also the concerns of, you know, dogs and whatever else getting onto his property. So I feel that a fence in between is going to stop a lot of disagreements, a lot of things happening between those two properties and businesses that, you know, a fence is really just going to reduce a lot of that. And yeah, listening to the speakers tonight, and also to those who come in support of this. Like I said before, I voted against this just in regards to the advertising processes and stuff like that, but I really would like to see this approved because I think it's a good business and it's one that's in high demand here in Port Hedland.
Thank you, Councillor Pitt. Speakers.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and just to clarify, I love dogs, I've had dogs for many years, and I love new businesses in town, I've got no problems with that. But what I've got to do as a councillor is make sure that the decisions I make is lawful and just. Now, I've got documentations here in black and white for everyone to see that gives guidelines on what can happen to that land and what can't happen. The Minister's approvals everywhere. Now, I just got told a few minutes ago that we received some paperwork that says that all this is rubbish. Yeah? And I haven't seen that paperwork. So how can I make a truthful decision about a great business, looking after dogs, and that, when I don't get all the information? Again, we could, you know, when we're out of camera, yeah, the planning department has got to make sure that we didn't need to get this. The planning department should have made sure that we've got everything, that what the minister says, what he can and can't do is in our lap, because I can't give you a yes answer to something, to details I don't have all the information about. I'm sorry if that's going to delay the business. I'm sorry for all you dog people and that wants dogs to be looked after, but I honestly can't give you a fair and just decision, apart from saying no, until I get all the paperwork to say that this is all wrong or whatever. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cash. Speakers for?
Yes, Mayor, I'll speak to it.
Thank you.
Look, I said earlier when we were out of standing orders that this item has been to council 3 times now. We seem to find new hoops for this proposed business to jump through every time it comes. The information that's been presented to us tonight, I believe it's a case of paper doesn't refuse ink. There's been no mention of it previously at all, and I'm talking about the information that was presented by a member of the public, not anything that was within our actual item. I believe the officer that's done this report has done it factually and in line with the law. And in relation to Councillor De Cash's statement that if it's not lawful, then even if we've approved it, then the department will disallow that approval because we haven't followed the processes. It's just that simple. But if we've got the letter there from the department that's signed, that's come through, then I see absolutely no reason why we wouldn't go through with the amendment that the deputy has put there of the fence, because I do believe that the business owners are in agreement that that's probably okay to move ahead with, and I just want to see these people be able to go ahead, build their business and help all the people that they're going to serve.
Thank you, Councillor McDonough. Speakers against? Councillor Whitwell.
Look, I'm a person who loves dogs as well. I haven't got one myself, but I've had a dog over the years, and many dogs over the years, and been involved with drugging sheep and all sorts of things. But look, I think there's a lot to be said for setting up the dog centre there. The only question we've got is whether we say we've got a document. I've looked at this little document here, but it sort of says pretty clearly that the minister's got to agree. Now, we've got agreement of the minister.
Would you like some clarification on that, Councillor Whitwell?
Well, we just...
Yes or no, Councillor Whitwell? Would you like some clarification?
I would like clarification, yeah.
CDO, could I clarify?
So throughout this process, there has been conjecture from both the applicant or the adjacent property leaseholders around the leases and what's in the leases. The planning department, to remove any confusion, sought the signature of the Minister for Lands as the landholder on the planning application, and that is what we received today.
All right. So it's not going to be a transfer.
We're in debate.
Sorry,
You've had your clarification. Can we carry on with the debate? Councillor Whitwell?
I'll carry on with the debate, but look, the position is that, you know, I've just got this information today as well, in terms of the lease and the leasehold requirements. I'm still not satisfied as those lease requirements are actually met. If this goes out and it goes out as a positive recommendation, well, you know, the next step, I suppose, would be somebody would go to the court and say, look, this is crazy, but, you know, based on the information we've got there. But, you know, like, I'm not in a position to be able to say that. You know, I've certainly looked at it, but, you know, all these things have their crevices, and I would be surprised if we're going to see the end of this tonight. Anyway, I'd like to really see that the horse people and the dog people be able to get along together with proper screening, as has been mentioned. It'd be great, but we've got no guarantee that's going to happen. We just don't know enough about it.
Thank you, Councillor Whitwell. Speakers for? Thank you, Councillor Hebbar. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, through the Chair. I just want to acknowledge Frank Edwards and his efforts to build up the Pippengarren area. But I feel, looking at this information that we've been provided, it's, you know, the applicants provide sufficient information and met all planning requirements and the land use regulations. And I just feel on this basis that we have to approve this application for land use plan.
Thank you, Councillor Hebbar. Speakers against? Speakers for?
I'll speak for it.
Councillor Arif, thank you.
This is a planning application, and as such, we can only vote on the planning merits and whether or not it meets these merits. We've heard a lot from members of the gallery about the social aspects of it, but it's really not about the social aspects. We can only read and vote on the planning merits. If we choose not to vote on those planning merits and go down a different road, then that is cause for someone to put an appeal to SAT, and it would easily be overruled. So we need to look at what the applicant has done. The applicant has met all the deemed provisions of the planning regulations, and I believe that it is compliant, and that we should all vote according to the planning regulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arif. Speakers against? Speakers for? Okay, I'll speak for it. Councillor Arif is correct. We should be only looking at the planning aspects of the proposal, and because it is a proposed use not listed in our scheme, that's why it's come to council. But it has been recommended by the officers that it can move forward. It's been a very convoluted process for the young lady that's put it forward. We did have to do public consultation. So, this council has requested public consultation on many, many things, when they don't agree with something. Clearly we've had one objection, and that was by the neighbour. But we've had 18 submissions in favour, and they all pretty much say the same thing, that the lady is pretty much a legend when it comes to looking after dogs, and she wants to do the right thing there. So you know, that is a pretty good thing. But you know, what we're here to do is to facilitate trade and develop and encourage small businesses in our town. And you know, obviously we've got a planning application here, and I don't think the council should be rejecting it. And if it does, it's got a complete misunderstanding of you know, the planning processes. The staff have put a good report together, and you know, a few comments just lean towards you know, no trust in the staff's report, which is you know, inappropriate in my opinion. It's a good report. It's legal, and you know, it facilitates trade and development of small business in the town. You know, it complies with you know, our community surveys, which, you know, again, you know, just our recent community survey said that when you add up all the percentage ratios, 95% of the people in Hedland want the council to be helping out in creating and developing small businesses. And we are at the core of that, because we approve these planning applications and then it goes into a building application, and that's how things start in this town. So by creating this, you know, such a long process, all that does is, you know, puts doubt in the applicant's mind, and it costs them a lot of money. And, you know, it goes against what the community actually wants. The community has said in our strategic community plan, and also in the latest surveys, is that they want to see more business. They want to see more opportunities in this place. So that means we need to make sure that we approve these sort of things. And this is a good start. So I suggest we just pass it and get on with it so the lady can build it. Thank you. Speakers against? Speakers for? A right of reply.
Let's make this short. Let's get on with it. Thank you.
Put it to a vote. Those in favour of the proposal? Thank you. And those against? The motion is passed 8-1. Okay. All right, we will move on to the rest of our agenda. Just give me 1 minute to catch up.
Thank you. Excuse me, Matt.
Yes.
Well, just, I don't know how to propose this. I was looking in the standing orders, but just that, with the exception of obviously the confidential item, I'd just like to propose that we move the rest of the agenda on block. Has anyone got any?
The rest of the agenda? Oh, we can do that. That is, hang on.
Point of clarification.
No, wait. We can do that, but what we can do is if there is an item that a councillor doesn't agree with, then we can pull that item out, okay, and then do that separately. But if you want to move the agenda on block, I'm fine to do that. But do you understand? Declarations and also absolute majorities.
Yes.
Okay. So we've tried this before and the councillors disagreed, but I'm happy to do it. Is there any objection? Is there any item that you would like pulled out? Yes.
It's through the Chair, Local Government Act 1995.
That will have to be done separately, yes. And it's also a late item, so it will have to be done separately anyway. It's just what's in the agenda. Do I have any other items that you would like to pull out and discuss?
I just have a moment to check, please.
Yeah. I think we... I'm excited. User onto it. Simple. Simple. Absolute. Item 11.1.4 will have to come out and be done on its own. 11.1.4. It's an absolute majority.
Yeah.
It's an absolute majority.
11.3.3. I'd like to, as a separate issue.
Can we just make sure we do this correctly, considering there's no objection? So we've got one that's coming out. Simple. Absolute 11.3.3 will have to be done.
Yep, just one.
Okay, no, that's fine. We can, so we can do the agenda en bloc apart from 11.1.4 and 11.3.3, and then the late items will have to be done separately. From item 12 on, we do separately. Yep. Okay. Is council happy with that? Okay. So could I? Okay. Councillor Arif, do you understand where we're going? Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Just a point of clarification regarding our financial interest in those two items. We will have to be omitted from the
Oh, exactly. Which item?
11.2.1 and 11.2.2.
Yeah, we'll have to, yeah.
And mine too as well.
Which? Well, I asked for objection. Which one were you not? Yeah. 11.1 to 11.4. Okay. All right. 11.1 to 11.11 to 11.14. So we're going to do en bloc from 11.11 to 11.14. Is it? It is too. All right, 1.3. Okay. All right, we're getting there. 11.1.1 to 11.1.3 we'll do en bloc. Do I have a mover?
So moved.
Moved Councillor McDonough. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Pitt. Do I have any against? The motion is passed 9-0. Okay. 11.1.4, annual report for the 2017-18 financial year with the officer recommendation on page 63. Do I have a mover in the officer's recommendation?
Through the chair, can I just have a point of clarification?
Yes.
Was the attendance register needed in there? Like, is that something that normally goes in the annual report?
Attendance register?
Meeting attendance?
Yes.
That normally goes in?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Do I have a mover in that item?
So moved.
Moved Councillor McDonough. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Heber. Do I have any against? Motion is passed 9-0. Do I have a declaration on this item? Declaration of interest, portion of Wim Creek Road?
Yeah.
Can I have a declaration?
Yes, sure. 11.2.2, I'd like to declare a financial interest on the proposed closure of Wood Creek Road, Washington Creek Road, given that it is Port Authority's mentioned there and financial interest in that Port Authority a tenant of a house I own.
Thank you, Councillor Arrow.
And I also as well. 11.2.1, proposed closure of Wim Creek Road, financial interest as I have a contract with the Pilbara Port Authority.
Could I?
Yeah, point of clarification there. Could the
Yes.
deputy do both declarations now, or you can't do that? Okay, thank you.
Councillor Harris, I'm just going to mute you for the moment.
Yes, sure.
Thank you, councillors. Item 11.2.1, proposed closure of a portion of Wim Creek Road and road number 432, with the officer's recommendation on page 65, is it? 67. Oh, we're all right.
So moved.
Moved Councillor McDonough. Do I have a seconder? Seconded Councillor De Cash. Do I have any against? Motion is passed 7-0. Could I get Councillor, the Deputy Mayor back in for the next item? Thank you.
Back on, Councillor Harris.
Thank you.
Item 11.2.2, proposed dedication of a portion of Redbank Road, Port Hedland. Do I have any declarations on this one?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'd like to declare a financial interest, same as the last one, 11.2.2, proposed dedication portion of Redbank Road. It is that the Port Authority mentioned in the article, and the Port Authority a tenant of a house I own, so therefore it's a financial interest.
Thank you, Councillor Aaron. Get Councillor Aaron muted.
As myself, Mayor, 11.2.2, proposed dedication of Redbank Road. I have a financial interest as I have a contract with Pilbara Port Authority.
Okay, I've announced the item. Would you like me to announce it again? No. We have officer's recommendation on page 73. Do I have a mover in the officer's recommendation? Move Councillor Pitt. Seconder, Councillor McDonough. Do I have any against? Thank you. 7-0. Can I get the deputy back in? Thank you.
Back on, Councillor Harris.
Thank you.
can do both together. Would you, would council like to do on block 11.3.1 and also 11.3.2? Is there any objection to that? Okay, do I have a mover to on block 11.3.1 award of RFX 2018-29, a panel of pre-qualified supplier concrete replacement program for the town of Port Hedland, and also 11.3.2 award of RFX 2018-30, panel of supply of plant, equipment and operators for infrastructure works. Do I have a mover in those two items? Thank you. Councillor Carter moved. Do I have a second? Councillor McDonough. Do I have any against? Thank you. Motion's passed 9-0. (11.3.3) Award of tender RFT 2018-37 supply and delivery service agreement for light vehicles for the town of Port Hedland, with the officer's recommendation on page 161. There's two, yes. Officer's recommendation 1.
Sorry, Ms. Mayor, give me a page, please.
Page 161.
Yep, thank you.
So we're doing the first section of the officer's recommendation by simple majority. Do I have a mover in the officer's recommendation?
So moved.
Move Councillor McDonough. Have a seconder? Councillor Whitwell. Do I have any against? Thank you. Motion's passed 9-0. And officer recommendation 2, that council amend the 2018-19 budget to increase the light vehicle replacement capital project. Do I have...
Point of clarification, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Can you, someone please tell me through you, Mr. Chair, why is there a nil impact if we're increasing the budget? How can it be a nil impact?
It was explained previously that the money will be taken out of another section of the budget, so the budget doesn't actually change. It's just a money transfer from a reserve account.
Okay. Thank you.
Do I have a mover in officer recommendation 2? Move Councillor Hebbard. A seconder? Councillor McDonough. Do I have any against? Thank you. Motion was passed 9-0. Okay, so yes, I can read that out. So, can I get a? Do we have some numbers there? Yep. Okay, so the award of the tender for the supply of for the supply agreement for our light vehicles, the supply and delivery service arrangement for light vehicles for the town of Port Hedland has gone to Pilbara Motor Group for a contract value of $1,041,991.50, excluding GST, as per the recommendation of the evaluation panel. Just in reference to the award of the pre-qualified suppliers for concrete replacement, the concrete replacement program for the town of Port Hedland goes to Remote Construction Group, NJW Builders, Super Civil, and Helpcon Enterprises Proprietary Limited. That was for item 11.3.1. For item 11.3.2, the supply of plant and equipment and operators for infrastructure works goes to AK Evans Earthmoving, Goodline, De Grey Civil, and Riverhill Contracting. Item 12, reports of committees. 12.1, Audit Risk and Governance Committee meeting 4th of December 2018 with the officer's recommendation on page 166. Do I have a mover in the officer's recommendation? Move Councillor McDonough. Do I have a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Carter. Do I have any against? Thank you. Motion's passed 9-0. Item 13, motions which previous notice has been given. There is nil. Item 14, new business of an urgent nature. 14.1, the Local Government Act Review, Phase 2. Could I get a mover to accept the late item? I move Councillor Pitt. Do I have a seconder? Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Hebber. Do I have any against? Motion's passed 9-0. Local Government Act 1995 Phase 2 review. Now, we are going to try this one on block because there's quite a few. And would you like to go out of standing orders and discuss a few points first, or would you like to just go into it?
Mr. Mayor, I don't have a chart with all the ticks and not ticks and things like that for this one, how the councillors voted.
I see. Okay, well, Councillor Julie, yes, you've supplied a.
Yes, I know I did.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
Okay, I'll walk you through it as we go through. All right, if there's no need to do that, we will we'll just move on and see if we can go on block. Majority agreed to items 2. Oh, we're not numbered.
Well, it reflects what's the attachment about the agenda.
I see. All right. Can I just then number the ones? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 12. We're happy to do the first 12 on block. You've all got your list there. Are we happy to do that?
Yeah.
We're going to move though to go on block on the first 12. Got a seconder in Deputy Mayor. Do I have any against? No against? Motion's passed 9-0. CEO's not here. Director, can I just get clarification that we've got that? That we've got it. We've got it? Okay, very good. Okay, the next one is number 13, financial management, differential rates, section 6.33. We had Councillor Whitwell that was against. The rest of us were in agreement. Do I have a mover? Well, it's actually number 13. If you're happy to, do you want to move it? Did I have a mover? Move. Councillor Whitwell moving number 13. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah.
A seconder, Deputy Mayor. Do I have any against? Councillor Arif? You were for, that's right, yes. Motion's passed 9-0. Number 14, which is on 14 down the list, which is number 19 on the sheet. Complaints management on vexatious, frivolous complaints. We had one councillor against, which was Councillor Pitt. Now, so do I have a mover in that number 19 or number 14? Do I have a mover?
So moved.
Moved, Councillor McDonough. A seconder, Councillor Heber. Do I have any against? Motion's passed 9-0. Item 15 on the sheet, down the sheet, and listed as 24. Council meetings, elected members' attendance at council meetings by technology.
So moved.
A mover in Councillor McDonough. Do I have a seconder?
Seconded.
Councillor Whitwell. Okay, I've got a mover in Councillor McDonough. Do I have a seconder? Okay. Councillor Pitt, are you happy to second that? Or Councillor Arif?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Councillor Arif. Do I have any against? Councillor McDonough. Speakers for, Councillor McDonough. Speakers for, Councillor Arif. Speakers against, Councillor Whitwell.
Yes, thank you. Just in relation to the Local Government Act review and in particular elected member attendance at council meetings by technology. Obviously, we're now in the year 2019 and video conferencing, Skype calls, we've got a councillor on a phone dial in tonight. We've got a nice clear connection there. I believe the councillor has had absolutely no issue at all with the communication and being able to enter debate and that sort of thing. A lot of people travel for work these days, not just within the state but all over the country and even the world perhaps. So yeah, I see absolutely no reason that an elected member cannot perform their duties attending a meeting via electronic means. So I think we'll just go ahead with it.
Thank you, Councillor McDonough. Speakers for, Councillor Arif.
Thank you very much. Now, as you know, I moved a motion earlier this year, or late last year, sorry, to withdraw phoning in. But I was assured by the staff that technology had improved and that you could all hear me clearly, and tonight would be the tester, so I'm hoping it is all working okay. We, as a town, want to be a smart city, and this is the first step in becoming a smart city. If technology is working fine tonight, then I am very much in favour of this being the way that Town of Port Hedland should be moving, and certainly West Australian local government.
Thank you, Councillor Arif. Speakers against, Councillor Whitwell.
Look,
Could I get you speaking in the mic, Councillor?
I'm obviously along the same lines as everybody else tonight and what they've said. It's appropriate, and it's appropriate to use that mechanism. The only thing I'm concerned about is that if somebody was to sit at home all the time or something or other, we'd never have them at a meeting, right? That's my only feeling. And I just think we need to have some sort of element there which will give a bit of a, let's say, that I've got here, the number of times should be limited to 3 times in a period, you know, and I think that's appropriate because we do want people to come face to face. I could sit at home happily and do the, or I could be somewhere else and I'd be happily doing it. But I do think that would spoil the nature of what we do. That's my point.
Speakers for?
I better just.
No, that's. I'm just trying to think if we can actually change it and maybe put a recommendation into that item. If council is happy, are we able to do that? We're in debate, so.
This is so. Councillors would be obviously or attending meetings. So it's not a case of everyone. Sorry, it's not a case of everyone sitting at home. This is, you know, as with Councillor Arif attending a meeting in Perth, so it's approved leave of absence or being away from the office. So I don't know whether you want to add in that.
Councillor Whitwell, have you finished?
Yeah, well, you know, if we can integrate that somehow, that would be good. But I'm not worried about 3 either. You know, if somebody can think of a better amount than I have, 3, that'd be fine. But I think 3 is at the maximum.
Okay. Speakers for? Speakers against?
Yes, thank you through the chair. I believe that this regulation is in place for several reasons. I do believe that there are opportunities for people to, you know, to sit at home, like you're saying, Councillor Whitwell, and take the mick out of it. I have seen a previous council in the Pilbara have a councillor who lived in Tasmania, and simply there was no regulations in place which stopped him from ringing in and all those things. So I really just have a problem with in another state or overseas. I mean, overseas there's different hours as well. I mean, if I had phoned in myself from New Zealand last year, I would have been phoning in at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know, it's just not appropriate, and I think that one-on-one with the public and with each other here as a team is very important. Yeah, so I'm really just against overseas and another state if it's not appropriate.
So just to clarify, this is still by a council vote. So the council would have to approve it. Okay. Speakers against. Speakers for. Speakers against. Right of reply.
Yes, thank you, councillors. Some very good points raised there. And my understanding is that, and I did say in my initial debate that I did mention interstate and overseas. However, I negated to read the little bottom part here where it does actually say this doesn't include interstate and overseas. So that, yeah, that's obviously precluded from this argument anyway, or excluded. I think there's also something within the Act where it says 150 kilometres from town, is that correct? Yeah, so as far as sitting at home, then it's not really a possibility. You've got to be out of town to actually apply for the application to attend the meeting via technology. So yeah, I'm still for it. Thank you, and I think we should put it to the vote.
Those in favour of the item, show of hands, please.
For.
Thank you. Those against? Those against? Thank you. The motion is passed 7-2. Okay, the last one on the first page, elections, method of election of the mayor and president, section 2.11. So we have agreement. What do we? No, one disagrees. Councillor Hebbar. Do I have a mover in the item?
Can I just have a point of clarification?
Yes.
So, point of clarification, please. So you're saying that the mayor or president should be elected by the council or elected by the community? Which one? We can determine. So individual councils can decide. Thanks.
Do I have a mover? Did I have a move? Move Councillor McDonough. Do I have a seconder? Okay. No seconder. Actually, I could second it. Yes, I'll second it. So we have a mover and a seconder. Do we have any against? Councillor Hebbar. Speakers for, Councillor McDonough. Speakers for, Mayor Blanco. Speakers against, Councillor Hebbar.
Local government should determine whether their mayor or president will be elected by the council or elected by the community. We should have that ability to make that decision. Yes, I do agree with that. I think that it's important that we have a say in the way our mayor's elected, and we listen to our community and make sure that we do the right thing by our community and not just what I think. Yeah, we've seen some power plays by other councils and that sort of thing in the past. It's important to listen to what the community wants.
Deputy.
I'm for it and happy to listen as to any reason why anyone would be against it.
Thank you, Councillor McDonough. I am in favour of it. Currently, the council does determine whether the community or the council elects the mayor. I would say this would just be a clarification to that section, and outline. It would be outlining or creating a better outcome or better understanding of that section to clarify that section of the Act. So currently, once the council agrees to electing the mayor, once the council agrees that the public elect the mayor, it basically has to go to a referendum to turn it around, which is very involved. Things like this will be discussed and brought back to to different councils to determine whether the legislation should be changed in a different way. So there's a fair bit more to do in relation to this. This is just the first start of the process. Speakers against, Councillor Hebbar.
I think I might have misinterpreted this position a little bit, but I believe we should stay with the Act. I think it's there for a reason, and so it's not taken advantage of. So I may have to withdraw my against objection. Is that right?
That's okay. So speakers against. So speakers for. Speakers against. Right of reply. Councillor McDonough.
I'd like to put it to the vote, please, ma'am.
Thank you. Those in favour of that item, have shown hands, please. Thank you. Councillor Whitwell, for or against? Councillor Whitwell, next time I'll just move the vote on. You need to vote You need to
It's
show,
okay.
you need to, I've asked you a couple, Councillor Whitwell, I'm just explaining, and I have to keep requesting that you put your hand up on the vote. I need to know whether you vote for or against, okay? Thank you. So the motion's passed 9-0. First line on the second page, beneficial enterprises. We have Councillor Pitt against. So do I have a mover in the beneficial enterprises? Yep. Move Councillor Whitwell. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor McDonough. Do I have any against? Motion's passed 9-0. Oh, sorry, Councillor Arif. Thank you. Well, you did say 4 in here, so. Number 2, financial management, power to borrow, section 6.20. We have Councillor Arif against, Councillor Hebab against, Councillor Pitt against. So, do I have a mover in that item? We have got councillors. Yes, we have got councillors agreeing to it. I moved Councillor McDonough. Do I have a seconder? And do I have any against? Councillor Hebbar. Speakers for. Councillor McDonough. Speakers for. Councillor De Cash. Speakers against. Councillor Hebbar.
Quite simply, I believe that it should be left as it is, but there should be 1 month's public notice before the intent to borrow any money by the town or shire, as it may be.
Yeah, it's just to be deleted. That 1 month to be deleted. So,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Councillors? We're in debate. So speakers for? Speakers for Councillor De Cash?
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
My misunderstanding, apologies.
Councillor De Cash?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just think that it doesn't matter if we want to borrow money, that we as a council can decide whether to go to the public and ask for their approval or not approval. So whether it's in here or not, we decide as a council. So it doesn't make much difference to me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Speakers against? Councillor Hebbar?
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, again, I believe in the Act. I believe it's been put there for a reason, even though if it was 100 years ago. I believe that the public should know, and 1 month's public notice, if you've got nothing to hide, what's the problem? It should be there just to keep us transparent. Thank you.
Speakers for? Councillor Whitwell?
I think transparency is very important.
Councillor Whitwell?
I think transparency. Excuse me. Transparency is very important, and this we can see that if there's not too much time lost between what goes out to the public in terms of our monthly reports and so forth and the financials, and what happens in the time we do the transfer, because that comes back to having a proper arrangement where we can follow it each month and make sure that people are doing the right thing. Now, all right, it could be pretty tricky if somebody goes off and does something spectacular, but the thing is that we do have limits put onto various offices and so forth, and various ways of doing banking and loan business. So it's not quite as easy as that. So there'll be a second person involved for sure. So there'll be a first person who's putting the proposal through in finance, and there'll be a next person will be ratifying that that's okay. So you've got at least double or triple verification, and you've got that later verification which comes into the public eye. I think the advantage of it is that sometimes you you're running at a period when you've really got to make that transfer. You haven't got any choice. Like, for example, something's actually got to the point where it's matured, and you see that this is not a particularly good thing to look at, and you think it's a better way to bring it out and place that loan somewhere else. And you miss that advantage if you don't have that quick ability to do it. That's all.
Speakers against?
Oh yeah, I'll speak against. I'd like to concur with Councillor Havard in the fact that I think that this is already in the Act, just as a way to be able to keep finances as transparent as possible with the public and also with the ratepayers. And the way that I look at this is actually it can be more considered as protection for council in regards to being questioned around finances, which is something that as a council we do get questioned a lot in regards to our finances. So that's why I voted against this item. Thanks.
Speakers for? Okay, I'll speak for it. Basically, the reason I'm for it is because the process is very convoluted already, and we have to jump through a considerable amount of hoops, to get this to get something like this happening, and also the issue with another, I suppose, issue that we have with all of our public submissions is that nobody returns any public submissions. So if we had, the public coming back all of the time with, with responses to anything that we did, then clearly, you would leave something like this in place. But the public have elected their, representatives, and our job is to represent the public. So I would think that, all elected representatives would do the right thing for their electorate. Speakers against?
Now, I'll speak against because I actually misread this one. So, no, I did have a yes down there and I did misread this one. So I believe no. Should be given notice to all financials in public notices. Open and transparency is always well needed. Public notice opportunity that no one misses out, and that we double up to make sure that there's clarity that it has gone out there. Thank you.
Speakers for? Speakers against? Right of reply, Councillor McDonald.
Right of reply from the wrong side because I moved it with a misunderstanding of what it actually said. I'd just like to clarify that I haven't submitted my answers to this and only 50% completed it. And I'm talking on items that a lot of other people at the table have actually voted on, so maybe they should be jumping in. But yeah, look, I believe and do concur with the deputy and the other councillors that are against that. Just in the interest of transparency, whilst the process might be convoluted, we should probably have sufficient notice that we're going to need to borrow some money. It's not the sort of thing that should pop up.
Councillor, I'll give you some. You can withdraw your moving the item. You can withdraw moving the item if you like.
Well, whilst I can do that, there's absolutely no reason why we can't just put it to the vote.
Yep.
So.
Sure.
Yeah.
You finished?
Yep. Done.
Are those in favour?
Against.
And those against? 5, 6, 3. Motions, we don't agree, we don't support. 6, 3. Next one, rates, fees and charges. members' interest exemption.
Excuse me, through the chair.
Yes.
Can I have a point of clarification on this one? Just wanted to know what sort of exemption, like an example. Sorry, I know you probably told us lots, but so it seeks to create an exemption under Regulation 4. So I'm just wondering what sort of exemption. Can you give me an example? Sorry.
CEO, could I get
So I'm clear on it.
could I get an explanation? My understanding is an exemption from filling out the related party transaction. So this is a new one that's just come in, but can I get that?
Yes, through the chair, that is correct what the mayor was just referring to now. This is actually an exemption from elected members having to fill out the related party transaction form. As explained in the agenda item, a number of WALGA members actually believe that the requirement in the Local Government Act to fill out an annual return and a primary return is sufficient for elected members, and that the addition of this related party transaction form that came into place a couple of years ago has added an unnecessary burden to elected members. Hence the proposal to they're doing it for an exemption for legislation, but essentially that means that elected members will no longer be required to fill out that form. Yep.
Okay. So, do I have a mover? Well, I need a mover because we've already had people that have agreed. So, if you've agreed, can I have a mover out of the agreement?
Look,
Moved.
Can I just ask which number it is?
Oh, number 7 on the on the second page. It says number 7, but it's actually the third one down. Do I have a mover, Deputy? Moved? Do I have a seconder?
Yes, Mr.
Councillor De Cash. Do I have any against?
I've got one.
Councillor Whitwell against?
Yep.
Speakers for, Councillor Deputy Mayor. Speakers for, Councillor De Cash. Speakers against, Councillor Whitwell.
Yeah, I believe that the other two forms that we fill out are more than sufficient to backtrack, so I don't believe that we should have to do this related party transactions. Thank you.
Speakers for, Councillor De Cash.
Just concur with what the Deputy Mayor said. I mean, we're pretty regulated by most government departments, and the less paper we've got to fill to do a role for the community, then the better I'm happy with. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Speakers against, Councillor Whitwell.
Look, I think if we...
Can I get you speaking on the mic, Councillor?
I think if we had some electronic way we could match all these things, that'd be great, you know, because then we wouldn't have to make up different forms to do different things. The only difficulty here that I see is that, apart from the fact that I don't agree with the idea of ditching AASA, because what's the number of it again?
AASB 124?
124, yeah, or 12 something or other, all right? And so I think that's was put on purposely in the accounting area to make sure that they could identify the people with what was going on in relation to an account or whatever it might be, right? Or a company transaction. Now, and whether they were related to the people who that transaction was for, and it's a public company, and therefore there's also, as we have in a council, we have this obligation that we must not mislead people, you know, and so it's that same sort of thing in terms of transactions, as well as saying, you know, I own X or I own Y. But the place it's going to come into a tricky bit will be if we've already agreed to having an interest in beneficial enterprises. And those beneficial enterprises, although it's not very well spelled out at the moment, but the only way it's going to survive is through the Corporations Act. Now, once a beneficial enterprise becomes a corporation, then you're going to be filling out one of those forms if you've got anything to do with it. In other words, if, for example, we had 6 enterprises of that sort, and they're all corporations. And we have people in our organisation going to sit as shareholders on this organisation. They're going to do it. And so, you know, the thing is that I just think it's probably better if we can somehow standardise this, and perhaps it might be that we go back to Walker and the Minister and say, look, we don't want more forms, but we want a form that will actually do the whole job, right? And it will be conforming with this regulation of the Corporations Act. That would seem to me to be the ideal solution.
Thank you, Councillor Whitwell. Speakers for? I'll speak for it just quickly. When it first came in, I thought it was, you know, an additional piece of paperwork that we had to do that really didn't create any benefit in identifying financial interests that councillors may have. There may be some way accountants do it, but I can't really see it. You know, it also it seeks to amend it, you know, as an exemption. So if members did want to actually, you know, put it in, I suppose they could. But that was about it, I think. Speakers against? Speakers for? Right of reply? Deputy?
Put it to the vote.
Are those in favour of the item? Thank you. And those against? 7-2. Rates, fees and charges. On...
Point of clarification on this one, if I could, please, ma'am.
Yes, Councillor McDonough.
As I stated earlier, I haven't actually completed my sheet. I'm very apologetic for that. But I haven't referred back to the Act, but my understanding was that we do set all our fees and charges for the town, and that's part of what we do. So I don't understand what the difference is, why they want it removed.
CEO, can we get a...
Yes, so if you make reference, Councillor McDonough, to page 8 of the late item, it's actually explained in further detail there what the intent of this change in legislation is. So the intent is not that local governments are no longer able to set fees and charges, but the change to legislation is that the requirement to set fees and charges as currently stipulated in the Act is removed, because that is considered restrictive. Yes, if you have a look at maybe the final paragraphs, they will give you a bit of an explanation as to how currently many local governments feel that they're not considered as a sphere of government that has the right to set appropriate fees and charges within their own right, and that they're actually limited by legislation in terms of how much they can set those fees and charges for. So yeah, that's the reason.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. So, do I have a mover in the item?
I move it for the amendment, or I move it for the item?
We don't have an amendment. It's the item.
Well, it's a suggestion.
Yes?
I move the suggestion be incorporated into the item.
The suggestion being?
That we have to have performance audits. We're looking at the right one. I'm looking at.
Yeah. That's what I think.
And the reason for that is at the moment we've got financial audits, which check to make sure that we're
Can I just get the wording on that?
Look, the point is that this legislation, if we got that extra, I suppose, fluidity in it, right, we would have to actually, it wouldn't become a thing that would be checking against the regulations. It's a thing we'd be checking them to see whether we're actually giving the right amount of fees or whatever it might be, right, that we're imposing, and that we'd have to then look to see whether that was appropriate in terms of like the soccer pitches and so forth, we're imposing fees. So we'd need to see whether in fact that was not an audit per se, like a financial audit, but a performance audit. In other words, you really need that.
Can I just move this process along a bit faster? Okay, it is proposals going to to Walga, and then it'll be considered. It's basically a yes or no. Okay, so unless you really want to debate it, can we just put it to the vote and we're putting to the vote whether you agree with it or whether you don't agree with it. Okay. This is the Walga position. We've gone over this quite a few times in different forums. So so number 4 down the list, or 8 as the item number is. Do I have a mover?
Yes, I'll move it.
Okay, moved Councillor Heber. And a seconder? Second, Councillor Whitwell. Do I have any against? I'm against. So there's no need to discuss it. It is just whether you agree or not. So we have, yeah, but we still have to go through the motions. So Councillor Heber, speakers for. Councillor Whitwell, speakers for, and I'm against.
I'm for a review to remove fees and charges from the legislation, so councils have some independence. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Heber. Speakers for, Councillor Whitwell.
I said we'd actually have performance audits, but I'm for it if we can just rely on that.
Thank you, Councillor Whitwell. And speakers against, myself, and I'm against it. So so speakers for, speakers against.
I'm against. Oh no, that's all right.
Right of reply, Councillor Heber.
No, I don't need to.
Can I put it to the vote? Those in favour? For. Those in favour? And those against? Okay. 6-3. Administrative efficiencies, number 15. Do I have a mover in that item? Councillor Whitwell. Do I have a seconder? I'll second it. Do I have any against? Councillor Heber. Speakers for, Councillor Whitwell. Speakers for, Mayor. Speakers against, Councillor Heber. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Speakers for the change. I've done this proposal. I've done these things a few times. I think if a application gets put forward on something like this, and you have, the support of the majority of the community, getting those numbers won't be a big issue. Speakers against?
I tend to disagree with that. I believe that the numbers is an issue, and one person's point of view is just as important as 10% of the electors, for example. So I do believe that process should be available for everyone to put in proposal for change, and that's why it's in the regulations.
Thank you. Speakers for? Speakers against? Right to reply? Councillor Whitwell. Thank you. Those in favour, I'll put it to a vote. Those in favour? Thank you. And those against? Right, 6-3. Okay, number 16, again, administrative efficiencies. A Schedule 2.2 proposal to amend name, ward and representation number of electors. Do I have a mover? Number 16. Six one down. Do I have a mover? Oh, come on, guys. We've had council members saying yes to this. So can I have a mover? Move, Councillor Arif. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah. I'll
Second, Councillor McDonough. Do I have any against? Councillor Hebbar. Speakers for, Councillor Arif. Speakers for, Councillor McDonough. Speakers against, Councillor Hebbar.
So, to increase the number of electors required from 250 to 500 in a town like Port Hedland is quite large. Excuse me. So, I don't think that we should be increasing it at all. So 10% of the electors is fine, because I think that we should vote for this one.
Okay, speakers for, Councillor McDonough.
Yes, I think as stated earlier with the previous item that 500 is really a realistic figure, I think, as far as if it really matters to the community, 500 is not a massive number when we're talking about a population of 15,000. So yeah, and then we talk about the 10% of the community, whichever is fewer. So in towns that have smaller populations, that they should be able to rustle up the numbers fairly easily.
Thank you, Councillor McDonough.
Me.
Oh, speakers against, Councillor Hebbar, yes?
So I basically disagree. I feel that 500 is a lot of people. It's just to put a proposal, remember, to amend the names and wards, etc. I do think that, even if it is 250, that's still enough people to say that, this needs to be looked at more instead of amending what is, being proposed by someone else. Obviously, the public are against it. So, yeah, again, I think it's a regulation that should stay in place.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Hebbar. Speakers for, speakers against?
I'm against.
Councillor Whitwell.
Basically the same principle, that is that small communities need smaller numbers.
Speakers for, speakers against?
I'm against.
Deputy Mayor.
Once again, the same. Entrusting that the local government, a lot of them are large city shires and everything like that, so they don't understand that 500 in a population of ours is quite extreme, considering a lot of the shift work and everything like that. And I don't believe I've ever seen an electors meeting in town where you've got even more than 100. So for Port Hedland, I'd have to be against.
Speakers against, speakers for. Okay, let me just clarify. There's a percentage there. All right, so it goes from 5% to 10%. Okay, so, when you have smaller populations, it's 10%. Okay, so that was my speaking for. So speak against. 4, right of reply.
So as you mentioned, it has got a percentage there, so I can't imagine it would be a show with only 100 electors, but should there be a show with 100 electors, that's 10 people, so that's a fair representative. So I think it should be as it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Put it to the vote. Those in favour?
4.
Thank you. Those against? It's 5-4, so it passes, yes.
So moved on the next one.
Hang on, let me, I'm getting...
Second.
Hang on. So we're on 17. Again, did I have a mover on that already? Moved Councillor Pitt. You're getting ahead of me, that's good. Do I have a seconder? Councillor McDonough. Do I have any against? Okay. We have Councillor Whitwell against. Speakers for. Councillor Pitt, speakers for, Councillor McDonough, and speakers against, Councillor Whitwell.
So when I was going through this and I came across this certain item here, I thought that's a fantastic idea for state and local government to collaborate their leave, look for a way to transfer accrued leave and entitlements, because as we know in town of Port Hedland alone and many other councils, they struggle to be able to attract staff, good quality staff to local government, but to be able to transfer in between sectors, it gives like staff, councils the opportunity to attract staff that not only know local government but understand state government as well. So I think this is a really good idea, and I do hope that this is something that is amended in the Local Government Act, so that's why I vote for it, yes.
Thank you. Speakers for, Councillor McDonough.
Yes, I concur with Councillor Pitt's statements there. I think it would definitely assist with remote places such as Port Hedland being able to attract staff with maybe a higher skill base, that sort of thing, if they don't lose their current entitlements. And I think we live in a time where there's a lot more sort of flexibility being offered by employers, so it's one of those things that to be able to transfer between the state, federal or local, if we were to make that easier, I think it would be a great idea.
Speakers against, Councillor Whitwell.
Right. Richard Whitwell, and I've actually benefited from this system and changing between Commonwealth and universities, right, who have that sort of arrangement. And it's a very good arrangement. The only thing that concerns me here is superannuation, because I don't know what the situation is with superannuation. The rest of it's right, just that it's a bit odd. So I just want to put a bit of a mark on that. Okay.
Speakers for.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
I reckon it's a great idea. It covers all the bases, and it's like anything, if you want to go from state to local or local to the state, you should pick up all your benefits. And as far as superannuation goes, there's rules and regulations that govern that sort of situation. So I'm quite happy with that.
Speakers against. Councillor Hepburn.
Thank you, through the Chair. I agree, it is a great thing to attract experience and knowledge from other levels of government. I mean, myself, I work for state government. It'd be great to jump between the government levels, but I don't think that is a reality. The reality is that it could cost councils a lot of money in moving people, accrued leave or whatever it is. I have seen in other industries in Port Hedland where people do move here and they take long service leave, for example, and that's at the cost to our local schools, especially the independent. So, that's a risk that council would take if they were to support this proposal.
So speakers against, speakers for, speakers against. Yeah, I'll just speak against it quickly. Councillor Hubbard's exactly right. If you have an employee moving from state to local with excessive leave entitlements, then you put that burden onto the local government. So when we, fine if it goes the other way, we're happy about that, okay, but bringing the burden back onto our local government, we should be thinking about that and not doing it. That's it. Speakers for? Speakers against? Right, a reply?
Yep. So just before we put it to the vote, in saying that payroll is one of my backgrounds and something like the leave entitlements, I do know that some government departments no longer allow for their employees to accrue large amounts of leave because they're stuck with paying years and years out of this accrued leave. So some state departments do now, I think, make it within the 12 months they have to take their leave. So that they're not stuck with that. So other than that, I mean, local governments may, struck a bit of the cost of leave entitlements when they're transferred between the departments, but I don't think that it'd be such a big significant amount because of those rules around leave entitlements with state government departments. So, yeah, can we put that to the vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
Those in favour of that item? And those against? So we've got 4, 5, yes. No support. No. 4, 5. So lost. Or no support. Again, number 18 on the list. A proof in vehicle offences.
Through the chair, point of clarification?
Yes.
Sorry. Just exactly, what does that mean? What sort of offences? Is that in the...
So the act around this is in grey areas. So basically, they're creating they're defining it a little bit more by putting a reasonable person in there. A responsible person, which means if it's not identifiable who was in the car, then the fine goes to the owner.
Thank you.
Am I wrong? There, yep, that's fine. Okay. Now I've lost my spot. So do I have a mover in support of that?
Yes, I'll move that one, Matt.
A seconder? Councillor Heber. Do I have any against? Speakers for, Councillor McDonough. Speakers for, Councillor Heber. Speakers against, Councillor Whitwell.
Yes, I think it's fairly straightforward. If we were removing the grey area and adding in there the person who is responsible for, or the responsible person for that vehicle. Obviously we get a lot of vehicles dumped around the place, that sort of thing. If we've actually got an avenue there to perhaps chase up and find those people for dumped cars and that sort of thing, then I think it's obviously a much better outcome. Thank you.
Through the chair, I agree with Councillor
Councillor.
McDonough. Yes, the individual responsible should concur the costs. Thanks.
Speakers against, Councillor Whitwell.
Look, I'm not sure whether I've
In the mic, Councillor Whitwell.
Sorry, I've got it. I'm not so sure as to what they mean here, but I was looking at the sort of things that I look at, and that's things to do with people drink driving and so forth, right? Now, I thought this is what it might be targeted at, but I don't know, because it's very, very loose. And so I'd like it tightened up a bit to find out what sort of offences they're talking about. Because what we do at the moment is we get a lot of people who basically lose their job over drink driving. And that's in the hands of the police. But I just don't know, and I have to really get a bit more information about this. I won't be satisfied.
Speakers for? Speakers against? Right of reply, Councillor McDonald.
I'd just like to vote for it, man.
Thank you. Those in favour, show of hands, please. And those against? 9-0. 4. Number 20, council meetings, elected general meetings, section 527. Do I have a mover in that? I'll move it. Mayor Blanco, do I have a seconder?
Second.
Second, Councillor Arif. Do I have any against? Councillor Hebbard. Speakers for Mayor Blanco. Speakers for Councillor Arif. Speakers against Councillor Hebbard. So the electors' general meeting be not compulsory. If council understands what the electors' general meeting does, obviously annual report, that sort of thing. We don't get any public turning up to these things at all. And, there might be one or two in different towns around the place, but I would think that, the amendment is also to give us option whether you do an electors' meeting and whether you don't do an electors' meeting. So I think that option should be available. And also, it's quite easy for the local government to add this into an agenda item of a council meeting and not to have an extra council meeting. So there isn't anything lost really in going down this road. And if members of the public do want it to happen, I'm sure that the council will keep something like this happening. Speakers for Councillor Arif.
Tonight we passed the report, the annual report, in a couple of weeks' time. That'll be presented to the electors. In my 7 years on council, I think you could probably count the numbers of elected combined on both my hands. We get one, maybe two members, the same ones every year that attend the meetings. It is a lot of work for the staff to put on that are not well attended, and I think the job is done by us passing the report tonight, which will then be available to the community to read, but I don't think you need to hold an electors' meeting, a compulsory electors' meeting, to take it any further.
Thank you, Councillor Arif. Speakers against? Councillor
Yes, thank you,
Hebbard.
through the Chair. Regardless of attendance and who attends and how little, I still think this is an opportunity to open it to all occasions for the public to come and have, see what's going on. And I think there's never too many occasions for that. I mean, and in response to another statement that, to have a separate date, well, why can't you just have it before a normal monthly meeting then? If it's short and sweet, as you say, why not just hold it then? Thank you.
Speakers for? Speakers against?
Look, the reason I'm speaking against is because I just think it's another opportunity for people to be coming into the council and to see the councillors and actually test them out at some time about various things they want to do. I mean, you can, like tonight we had quite a good group of people who were here and they wanted to vent their feelings about something. I think we should give them as many opportunities as possible. This is one.
Speakers for? Speakers against? Right of reply? That's me. Like I said, this is just an option for the council to consider whether they do or they don't want to hold a special electors meeting. And like I said previously, it's quite easy to add this into an agenda item and not hold a completely different meeting. The special electors meeting also delves right into the finances, and that's something that The electors, the annual electors meeting delves right into the finances, and that's something that we deal with every month anyway. So, okay, put it to a vote. Those in favour of? Thank you. Are those in favour? And those against? 6, 3, 4. Next one, elections. Conduct of postal elections. Section 4.20 and 4. Have we missed one, have I? Okay. I thought we were going fast. We're not. 21, council meetings, special electors meeting.
So moved.
5.28, moved Councillor McDonough. Do I have a seconder? Seconder, Councillor De Cash. Do I have any against? Councillor Hebbarn. Speakers for Councillor McDonough, speakers for Councillor De Cash, speakers against Councillor Hebbarn. Councillor McDonough.
Yes, thank you. Similar to the item earlier, administrative efficiencies, etc. To request the amount of electors increase from 100 to 500 to request a special electors meeting. I am in support of that. And as I stated earlier, I think 500 is a fair number for a town the size of Port Hedland, and there is a percentage there to deal with smaller populations. Thank you.
Speakers for Councillor De Cash.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor McDonald already mentioned point A, and I'll just start to say that point B, where it says preclude the calling of electors special meeting on the same issue within 12 months. Unless council determines otherwise, I think that's a good point. We'll determine whether they can bring it back or not. So I'm all in favour of this clause there.
Speakers against, Councillor Hebbarn.
Thank you. Through the chair, again, I feel like regardless of how many people turn up and all those sorts of things, that 500 people, which is probably less than 10% of Port Hedland electors, it is a amount of people to collect signatures for. I don't know if anyone's collected signatures, but it's quite hard. Stood in shopping centres myself. So yeah, I just agree with the change.
Speakers for? Speakers against? Right to reply. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Councillor De Cash, for bringing up the point B, preclude the calling of the elected special meeting on the same issue. I definitely agree with that as well. But yeah, I'll go back to my original statement, 500, the town the size of Port Hedland, definitely not that hard. I think I had 922 people vote for me. So there's at least that many people out there that want to do something.
Put it to a vote. Those in favour of the item, show of hands please. Thank you. And those against? Passed 5-4. Hang on. Number 25, elections, conduct of postal elections. Section 4.20 and 4.61. Do I have a mover in that item?
So moved.
Moved Councillor McDonough. Second. Councillor Pitt. Yep. Do I have any against? Councillor Hebbarn. Okay. Speakers for Councillor McDonough. Speakers for Councillor Pitt. Speakers against Councillor Hebbarn.
Yes, just in relation to amending the Local Government Act to allow the Australian Electoral Commission or any other third-party provider to conduct postal elections. yeah, I think the WA Electoral Commissioner is the only one that we use currently. To open it up to other ones that, if needs be, then there might be some administrative reason why we think that they might be able to do a better job, and if it gives us that option, then we should be able to have it.
Speakers for Councillor Pitt.
Yeah, I'd like to concur with Councillor McDonough, and also like the idea of like the AEC, the Australian Electoral Commission, being able to conduct these postal elections, especially considering in our last election there was, you know, a concern of maybe electoral fraud when it came to council members getting on council, and so to ensure, you know, like that we minimise the risk of any type of fraud or our most vulnerable people in the community being taken advantage of, I would like to see it be conducted professionally. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pitt. Speakers against, Councillor Heather.
Thank you, through the chair. I don't have a problem with the AEC conducting postal elections, but I do have a problem with third-party provider being provided with our privacy of information, and I don't think that third party would solve any inconsistencies in voting difficulties. So that's why I vote no.
Sure. Councillor against. Speakers for? Speakers against?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Wheeler.
I'd like to speak against, because I think that we're just complicating the situation by putting it out to individuals who, or individual contractors. I think it's best that we deal with one electoral commission. They're having difficulty as it is to keep the voting proper, and I think more money and resources should go in there, and we get a better outcome. At the moment, we're not very satisfied with the outcome, which has been raised, and I think therefore I'm not for this, because I think we're just making a muddy water.
Speakers for? I'll speak for it. It's about allowing a third party to do the election, and it's not a requirement that happens. So the local government could do it, the WA Electoral Commission could do it, or even the Australian Electoral Commission could do it, or a third party that is approved by the appropriate agencies. Privacy stuff would be covered in their requirement, to hold an election or to be able to hold an election. So I don't see any problem with a third party being allowed to be approved to do it. Speakers against?
Yes, Mr.
I don't believe that there is a proven third party that has conducted a postal election in WA. The Australian Electoral Commission and its subsidiary, the WA Electoral Commission, have done it for many, many years, but I've never seen a third party that have done it, a postal election. The problem of privacy and confidentiality is also an issue, and I don't believe that it should be, the opportunities should go out to a third party. I think it needs to be very tightly controlled.
Speakers for? Speakers against?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I also concur. I've changed my vote. I don't know why I did said yes, but anything else than the Australian Electoral Commission will cause me great heartache, because there's some dubious people out there, and I think that if you can't trust the Electoral Commission, then really you can't trust anybody. So I just prefer the AEC and no third party on this proposal.
Okay. Speakers for? Speakers against? Right of reply. Councillor McDonald.
Yes, thank you. I don't think I've got any other point to raise other than maybe there seems to be a fair bit of opposition to the third party provider. Perhaps we strike that part of it out and then we have the AEC all, but I don't actually agree with that, sorry, because I'm just thinking on the fly here. I would think that any third party provider, as the Mayor stated earlier, is going to be approved by the department. It's not going to be Barry's election services, it's going to be some approved and vetted organisation, and we'll put it to the vote.
Those in favour of the item, show of hands please.
Against.
Show, yes, and those against? Motion's lost. 5-4. Elections, voluntary voting, section 4.56. Did we all agree on that? No? Okay, so those in favour of voluntary voting, show of hands please. Oh, actually no. Do I have a mover in the item?
Yeah, I'll move it.
Moved, Council Deputy Mayor. A seconder? You know, we need to get it through, so someone's got to second it, even if you go against it.
Right up.
McDonough. Mover and a seconder. Any against?
Yes.
Against.
I'll be quick.
Dakash. Speakers for. Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe that the local government is an important part of government and that we should be equal to state and federal. I don't believe, I also believe that it shouldn't be voluntary because of the fact, even if you don't pay rates in a place, you still live in a town. So you use services or shops, so you should put in a vote for who should locally be supporting council.
Speakers for, Councillor McDonald.
Look, I think it should be just fall in line with our state and federal elections and be compulsory. I think we all hear so many opinions from people around town, and we seem to hear a lot more opinions than the amount of people that actually voted. So I'd certainly like those opinions to be qualified by having an opinion when it came to voting time. So I'm in favour.
Speakers against, Councillor Dakash.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just think people should have the right to say yes or no without being forced into a situation of voting. I mean, that somebody already mentioned that they forced to vote in the state, they forced to vote in the federal. We as a community should please the people and say, look, if you want to, go for it. If you don't, then cop the decision that we made. And if you didn't vote, then that's your issue. So that's my statement.
Speakers for?
Yeah, I'll speak for it. So I supported this in the sense that I don't believe local government elections should be voluntary to vote. They should be compulsory, because that way it actually enables the people who live within the town to be more involved in what happens locally. I mean, we do vote at state and federal elections and, are interested in what's happening there. And I know that there's more campaigning and more information around those types of elections and what's going on. But I feel as a community, to be able to get the best for the community, everyone in that community should have to vote. Thank you.
Now, lost my spot. Was that for again? For. Okay, so speakers against?
Yes, through the chair. I agree. I concur with Councillor Cash. I think that people shouldn't have that option taken away from them. There is a couple of complications. Obviously, only ratepayers that maybe aren't citizens or whatever vote in local elections only. So that could be a complication that could be brought in as well with changing the requirement to having to vote in all three levels of government. Thank you.
Speakers for. Speakers against. Yes, Councillor Webber.
Same as before, but that doesn't matter. Look, the point is that I think that compulsory voting is a good thing, and I think it encourages people to take more activity in, or more focus on their local, let's say local government and other sorts of areas of state government and so forth. But the thing is that what we've got to do is make sure that we have a system whereby we can count those votes properly and not have the problems like we had with state elections particularly, and where we haven't had the right sort of voting matching up with let's say the census and so forth. It makes it very difficult to put any sort of sense in that process. But that's outside this thing. I just think that as a general principle, we should be doing that. We can still use the same electoral system, and we can still improve ratepayers if we wish, right? So there's no real issue to just having it based on the electoral roll, but electoral roll is part of it.
Thank you, Councillor Whitwell. Speakers for. Okay, I think we're at the end, so I'm just going to. No, speakers for.
Me, but sorry, no, I was actually just going to say point of clarification, Mayor.
I think I'm going to do that right now. So I'll speak for it, but what I just want to clarify is, in my what I say is that this item is about voluntary voting. So if you don't believe it is, you should be voluntary voting in local government, you need to vote against this. All right, which I am voting against it because I believe that we should have compulsory voting in local government. Speakers against, speakers for, right of reply. Who had right? Deputy Mayor. Right of reply?
Yeah, well, I don't believe we should have voluntary.
We'll put it to a vote. Councillors, put it to a vote. Those in favour of the voluntary voting, show of hands, please.
I'm against.
And those against. Okay, so 7-2. So we just voted against voluntary voting. So everybody, we should have compulsory. Okay. Elections, online voting. Do I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councillor Pitt. Do I have a seconder? Seconder, Councillor McDonough. Do I have any against? Against, Councillor Hebbard. Speakers for, Councillor Pitt. Speakers for, Councillor McDonough. Speakers against, Councillor Hebbard.
Yeah, I like this idea of Walga wanting to investigate ways where people can vote online. Sometimes people move without updating their addresses. So when it comes to postal voting, their vote has gone to an old address before they've had the chance to update their new address. Being able to vote online saves them the trip into the council building on the election day or the polling booths and stuff like that. It also is a way to keep track and register people who have already voted, so that way, double votes or whatever can't happen. And I think it's also just, moving forwards with the times. this is like what Councillor McDonough said before, it's 2019 now, and I feel, you know, like the internet and that type of stuff is highly used, so it just gives people the opportunity to move forwards with the time in ways of being able to vote. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Pitt.
I concur with Councillor Pitt, and probably would just like to add that at this stage it's only for Wagga to continue to investigate online voting, and that it's not about them implementing it straight away. So I'm definitely in support of that. Would definitely suggest that they would find a secure means of doing that before they implemented it. So I'm definitely for it.
Speakers against, Councillor Hepburn.
Thank you, through the Chair. Even though I do think online voting would be ideal, I don't think it's realistic. It's never been done before, or successfully anyway. It happens in other countries, doesn't really end successfully. And I think electors should change their address when they move, because how do you know if they're living in Perth whether they should be voting in Port Hedland? Compulsory. Thank you.
Speakers for, speakers against. Right of reply, Councillor Pitt. Against. Yes, Councillor Whitwell.
Yeah, I just saying that, you know, we don't have online voting at the moment. It'd be great if we did, but it looks like the period they've been looking at online voting for is huge. You know, it's like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and we know we're closer. And I just like to see it. Once we get it in, fine, but not anywhere near them. And I don't want Wagga to go looking for it, right? I just think that's a waste of their time, you know, at the moment.
Speakers for, speakers against. Right of reply, Councillor Pitt.
No reply. Can we just vote on it?
Those in favour of the item? Thank you. Those against? 6-3 passed. Last one, elections. Leave of absence when contesting state or federal elections. Do I have a mover in the item?
Yes, I'll move that, man.
McDonough, do I have a seconder? Councillor Pitt, thank you. Do I have any against?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Speakers for, Councillor McDonough. Speakers for, Councillor Pitt. Speakers against, Councillor DeCash. Thank you.
Yeah, just in relation to councillors taking leave of absence when contesting state or federal elections, I definitely believe that they should be taking a leave of absence whilst contesting those elections. Local government is supposed to be apolitical and as such should not have any influence from any political party, and but would certainly leave it open to perhaps some influence whilst they're going through that election process. So yeah, I'm not in support of it at all. Thank you.
Speakers for, Councillor Pitt.
Yeah, I concur with what Councillor McDonough said. Elected members who are contesting state and federal elections shouldn't be able to sit at the council table and take a leave of absence due to issues of one being apolitical, and also there may be conflicts of interest at that time depending on what items are brought to council and what's happening in state and federal governments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pitt. Speakers against, Councillor DeCash.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The reason I'm voting against this is that you don't know the future. I mean, I got elected in 2017. There's a state election in March 2019. You know, now that's 2 years away. So why should I be penalised that I want to chase further activities in the political scene? You know, it's just unfair to penalise somebody who's been elected by the people of the town to represent them, and because he or she wants to further their political career cannot attend council meetings or committee meetings or anything. I think that's gross misjustice. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Speakers for, Councillor Whitwell.
I'll speak for, but sorry. The issue here is, yes, whether you're putting people out by actually making them take time off. In Queensland, they actually won't allow them. They strike them off from the register. You know, they're not allowed to be a member. and then they've got to actually get in at the next local government election if they didn't get in the state or federal election. So that's very peculiar. That's very bad. But here, I think this is not a bad sort of halfway point. I know what your point is, George, and it's a good one. But I think there's got to be some way in which people just don't hang around during that period, and they can, because otherwise it gets a bit complicated.
Speakers for? Speakers against?
Against. I believe that there is a process in place to deal with conflicts of interest, and probably there's been a previous member of council that has taken leave, maybe it was volunteer, but that happened just for the campaign time itself. So leading up to that though, that person's still an individual, still out in the community representing others. They just happen to be part of a political party, I guess, which is just another community party. All right, thank you.
Speakers for? Speakers against? Right, a reply. Councillor McDonald.
Yes, I think the leave of absence when an elected member is contesting a state or federal election it should definitely be within the Act. As I said, as councillors, we're supposed to be apolitical. So, I suggest we put it to vote.
Those in favour of the recommendation, show of hands, please. Thank you. Thank you. Those against? 7-2-4. Okay. One sec. Let's see if we can finish this. Are we done on that item? Is that it? Okay. Can we just take a 5-minute break and? Okay. Councillor McDonough, can you just 1 minute, and we'll go into confidence right now, and then we'll take a break. So item 15, matters for which the meeting may be closed, confidential matters. 15.1, the Chief Executive Officer Performance Review is a late item. So, members, can I have a mover to go into confidence? Move Councillor Pitt. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Carter. Do I have any against? Thank you. The motion is passed 9-0.